going to be making a mixed media wall clock today using this lovely little kit here from Tracey at MiniscenesGB. I also purchased the stick-on veneer bits that you can stick over the top here, but I'm not going to be using those today. I changed my mind on that bit. So I need to stick all these bits together first, and there's different bits of the kit that you can buy individually, but this set here comes as one complete kit. So I'm just going to get these all glued together and then I'll see you back in a minute. This is all dry and stuck together now, and I didn't have any wood glue, so I've just used some PVA glue and that's stuck really well. So next I'm going to use this stencil, and we're just going to do this half with the stencil. Oh, actually I'm going to do this bit as well. So I'm just going to place that straight over the top there, and then I'm going to use the Pebeo modelling paste. Take some of that, and then I'm just going to spread that all over the top of the stencil. Not worried about how neat it is, so I'm just going to spread this everywhere. Just need to be careful of that hole there. I'll probably be able to poke that out afterwards, so that'll be okay. I'm just going to put it on quite roughly, so we've got some nice texture going on there. Now that's all covered, I'm just going to gently lift that up, and then you do need to wash out your stencils quite quickly afterwards. Just going to clean up those edges there, and the same around the outside. Just going to run my finger around. There we go. And then I'm just going to take, let's just take a dotting tool, just clean out that centre. There we go. Right, so we're just going to leave that to dry now, and then I'll see you back for the next bit. This is all dry now, and I have done this side as well, so that's how it's looking. So next I'm going to use some chalk paint. This is in Cushion White, and I'm just going to cover the whole thing now in the chalk paint. So I'm sure you don't need to see me painting all of this, so I'll get this done and then I'll see you back for the next bit. This is all dry now, so next I've got this beautiful cherry blossom napkin. So I'm just going to take that back layer off there. It's only a 2-ply napkin, so I just need to remove that backing piece. And then I'm going to cut this down the middle, and then I only want one of these sections, so let's just chop that across there. Move that out of the way for a minute, and then I'm going to use one of these water brushes and just trace around the outside edge of this napkin, just so as we get a nice softer edge there, and then just peel that all away. So I'll do this all the way around the napkin, and then I'll see you back in a minute. I've done that to 3 pieces of the napkins, so now I'm just going to use some of the Mod Podge. This is the gloss one, and this one I want to go here. So I'm just going to put a layer of that Mod Podge down onto there, spread that all over, get that everywhere that I want it. and then I'm just going to place my napkin back down on top. So about there, I think. Obviously it's going on a rough surface, so I'm not worried about the brush marks in this, but I just want to dab down that top layer of Mod Podge now, just to make sure it gets into all those grooves. So just going to give this a good top coat, and then the same with the other two pieces. So that's the first piece, and then same again with this one. Get my Mod Podge down onto there, and then add that one. Let's put that one there, I think, and then another layer of the Mod Podge over the top. Seal that all in, give that a good push down, and then the same with this piece over here. So same again, and then placing that, let's put that there, I think, and then top coat that one. The edges I'm just going to leave overhanging because I'll use a nail file to get those off once it's dry. So I think I'm just going to do a top coat of the Mod Podge just over everywhere now, just over both these sections, because this is a gloss Mod Podge, so I don't want it looking matte in some places and glossy in the others. So I'm just going to give this a good covering, and then the same with this side over here. Cover that. Right, that's it all done. So we'll leave that to dry, and then we can move on to some resin. This is all dry now, and instead of filing off the edges, I've just taken that image around the sides there as well instead. So next, I've got this barrier tape from Let's Resin, so I'm just going to snip off some of that. Let's cut that off about there, and then I'm just going to wrap that around the edge there for when we pour the resin in. So just making sure I've got that nice and firmly down onto those side bits, and then snip down those edges there. This is how Tracey did it in her video, so I'm going to do it the same way. Hopefully we get a good seal that way. And if you've not seen Tracey's video of her doing this clock, I'll link that in my description box. So that's that side done. So I'll just do the same to the other side, and then I'll be back in a minute. That's both edges all barriered off now. So I want to do this side like a geode style, and I've got some clear like glass chip-ins, and I've got some silver chip-ins, but I didn't have any sort of pinky colour ones to go with the flowers. So I've just added some of these into a cup, and I did a few drops of the alcohol ink, just so as I've got some pinkier ones, and I did the same with the silver. So I'm going to start off by adding some UV resin into a pot. Squeeze some of that into there, and then add some of the, let's start with the, which one should we start with? Let's start with the finer ones. No, actually, let's start with these ones. Pop some of those into there, and then get that mixed in. And then I'm just going to run some of these around this raised edge here. So let's just get some of these going round. Pop some round there. Scoot that one over. So I'll just pop you on a quick fast forward while I do this bit. And then I'm also going to add some of these down in that middle section there. And then I'm going to do the same with the lighter colour pink. So let's pop some of the UV into this pot. And then add those stones into there. And then mix those in. And then I'm just going to add these round this outside edge as well. And it might come as quite a shock to most people that watch my videos that I'm actually not using blue for a change. But when I was watching Tracey do her video with this clock, the lovely Gert from Gert Creates, I said in the chat in the premiere that I would like to order one of these. And a bit of a joke, everyone said about pink. And Gert, yes, she said hot pink. But although this is not hot pink, it is out of my comfort zone with a more of a dusky pink. And if you've not seen any of Gert's videos, please check her out because she does some absolutely amazing things. Such a talented lady. So please check her out. And I will put the link to her channel in my description box as well. So I'm just going to carry on going around these edges with these pink stones. Just pop some in there. And then a few down this end here. Not too worried if they fall off the edges. Just want to create some texture with these. Just need some down this bottom section here. Scoot those over. Let's put some of these down on that bit there. And down this section here. Down into there. I think we just need some up this area here now. Take that up to the tape. Fill in that bit there. Right, I think we just need to add a little bit more in this section here now. And then I'm going to do the same again with some of the silver. So again, some more of the UV into a pot. And then I'm going to add some of these into there. And then give that a mix in. And then just fill in any last little gaps with some silver. Oops, let's get that off of there. Some going down in there. And I think we need a few up here. So I'm literally just going to fill in any gaps now with the silver. So now that's all covered, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a drizzle over the top of all of these with the UV resin, just to make sure they've all got a good covering. So some along that side, and then I'm just going to drizzle some over the top of that one, and then the same down this edge here. Just take those off there, and then I'm going to cure all of this using the UV light. This is all cured up now, and I've mixed up some of the Apex resin. This is the Quantum Fast set. This sets in 1 to 2 hours, and I've separated that into 3 cups. In the first cup I'm going to add some of the Rolio Salmon Pink mica powder, so I'm going to pop some of that into that one, and then in the other one I'm going to add this one's, what's this one, this is Nude Peach, so some of that going into there. Get that lid on there first. And then in the last one, I'm just going to add some of the white pigment paste. This was from Resin Art. So I'm just going to pop a tiny little drop of that into there and get all these mixed up. And in the one that's got the salmon pink in it, I'm going to add a drop of the white pigment paste into that one. And then get that mixed in. And then I'm going to start with the white, and I'm just going to go round the outside edge of everywhere that's got the crystals. So some of the white going around there, and then I'm going to take the white along that edge there, and then same again along the along this edge here. So just running that right close next to those crystally bits. And then I'm going to go in with the one that I put the white pigment paste into. And then same again, I'm just going to go round everywhere that I've got the white. So round in there, and then around the edges, taking that round there, and then up the other side, and then I'm just going to fill in the rest with that last salmon pink, I think this one was. So let's just fill in the rest with this one. Just going to scrape out what I've got there in my pot. Fill in any gaps that need it. I'm going to take that right up to that edge of that tape there. Squish that along. And then just fill in these last little bits here. And then just blend that in. Just make sure I've got a good covering all the way around to cover that lower section there. I think that's everywhere covered now. So I'm just going to leave this to cure now. Actually, let me just get my torch. Let's just give this a quick zap. Pop any bubbles that might be on the surface there. And then we'll leave this to cure and I'll see you back for the next bit. This is all cured now, and I took the tape off while it was still a bit tacky, and with a gloved finger I just sprayed some alcohol on it, 99% alcohol, and just rubbed it around the edges just so as it's got a smooth edge there now. So next I'm going to use a silver chrome marker pen, and I'm just going to go in round these outside edges. Let's just give that a bit of a pump. I'm just going to go round here, fill in that bit there, give it a little push down, get some of that ink flowing, and just trace all the way around both those edges. And then the same round the middle bit here, just taking that right in to those stones. Just going to work my way all the way around, and then the same down this edge as well. So I'm just going to do the same all the way around here. So that's how that's looking at the moment. And now I'm going to take a thinner silver marker pen, and I'm just going to add in some more detail going through here, just some little squiggly lines, just following some of those marks that are already there in the resin. So I think I'll do a couple more down this section here, and take some up round this circle bit, and then a bit round there, and then I'm just going to add in some random ones. Let's just go around this white area here a bit. So that's how it's looking, like that. So next what I want to do is, I've got these I think they're from like nail art, something like that, these little gems, and I'm just going to use some of the gem tack, and in the middle of these flowers just going to put a little bit of that glue in there. So just some glue going down just into the center there, and then I'm going to pick out, I think I use this color here, and then I'm just going to place those gems in the middle there. So this is going to take a bit of time, so I'll do this to all of those, and then I'll be back when that's all done. So that's all my gems added now, and I've also added a 12, 3, 6 and 9, and they're just like little stick-on numbers that you get with the set of hands with the mechanism. And I didn't end up doing some of those gems in every flowers, just most of them. So that's how it's looking at the moment. So to tie in the silver on this side to this side, I'm going to use the Pebeo gilding wax in silver, and I'm just going to do a light dusting over the left hand side. So I'm just going to highlight some of this detail on here with the gilding wax, bring out those textures. So just a light brushing just over all of that section, and then the same again with this section over here, just to bring all those colours together. And this colour here, the camera doesn't seem to be doing that much justice. It does match really well to this colour here, but I don't know if it's my camera that's not picking it up properly. Hopefully it will show better in the photos at the end. So I'm just going to do a final little dusting over this bit. So that's that detail highlighted on that bit where we did the stenciling. So all that's left now is the mechanism. So I'm going to pop that through that hole in the middle there. And then a little washer goes on the top first. And then the little nut. And just screw all that together. Tighten that up. Make sure you've got it facing the right way at the back. And then I'm just going to use a pair of pliers just to tighten that up. So that's nice and secure now. But the thing I don't like about these mechanisms, they always seem to come gold. So I'm just going to take my silver marker pen and just colour over that bolt and that washer in the silver. So I'm just going to colour that all in. That's better. And then just need to put my hands on. So the small hand goes on first. So I'm just going to push that all the way down. And then the big hand goes on next. And then the minute hand after that. Just push that down into the middle there. So all it needs now is the battery in the back. So let's just pop that in. Pop that in there. And there's my clock all finished. So thank you ever so much for watching my video today. Please go and check out Gert Creates, because she's absolutely fabulous. And also check out Tracey, because she'll give you more details on the kits that you can buy. So thank you again for watching my video, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.
In a world of colors, where dreams take shape, I mix my resin, set my heart to escape, with pigment swirling and glitter that shines. Every little piece tells a story divine. My hands are steady, my focus clear, chasing perfection, banishing fear.